Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 7, Episode 10. And before we get into it, I want to quickly say that this episode felt so disjointed. It was a lot of filler scenes, not a whole lot happened, so I'm not even going to hold you for that long because there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. But I will say that I'm confused by a few things. Wendy and all this apologizing. I understand that you're doing this to appear as the bigger person, but sis, I'm going to need you to stop apologizing to people who have done you wrong. I was just so irritated watching you grovel and beg for Robyn Dixon's friendship. But y'all, with all that being said, let's just jump right on into it because as you guys already know, we don't have a minute to spare. So we open up this episode with Robyn and Gizelle at Robyn's house, and they're going over the details of their live show that they're doing for their podcast, Reasonably Shady. We learned that their podcast is doing really well. They got over 1 million downloads, and on top of that, they even got nominated for an NAACP award. Now, while I really can't stand Robyn or Gizelle, I have to say shout out to them because that's a big deal, especially since podcasts are everywhere now. So the fact that they're able to carve a lane for themselves, congratulations to them. So for all the people who think that I just hate Robyn and Gizelle for no reason, I said something nice. So they get off the topic about their live show, and now Robyn brings up that she's just so busy. She has all this stuff going on. She still needs to figure out the prenup details with Juan. And then she says, I just thought that I would get a quiet moment in Miami, but that never happened. So since Robyn has brought up Miami, of course Gizelle has to say what she heard from Ashley. She says, oh yeah, girl, Ashley let me know that Wendy was singing a different tune to you at the club. So here goes Robyn talking about, yeah, she was crying at the club, telling me how much she missed me, and all I have to say is, okay, girl, bye. This has been going on for a whole year. Now, I want to address Wendy first, because Wendy, you made the grave mistake of groveling and talking about, oh, I just miss you so much, Robyn, and I'm sorry when you guys were at the club in last week's episode. Why would you do that? First of all, Robyn owes you an apology. Why are you apologizing to her? Second of all, you see how Ashley can't help herself. She always has to run and report back to her leaders. Why did Ashley have to tell Gizelle anything about Wendy and Robyn's interaction at the club? Girl, you're dealing with your divorce from Michael. Focus on yourself. You're always in somebody else's business. And Gizelle, if Robyn and Wendy do want to make up, why do you care so much? I have said this time and time again. It's really bizarre to me how they both want to hold this grudge against Wendy, but yet they have gotten into blowout arguments with Ashley, Karen, and they're fine. They've been able to move on. But yet, for some reason, Wendy's the worst person in the world because she read you guys down last season. They pick and choose who they want to forgive. Because, Robyn, if we're being honest, the way Ashley did you in the earlier seasons, spreading around how you only have $25 in your bank account, talking about you and Juan, saying that she had heard rumblings about Juan with other women, but you guys were able to move past that, but for some reason or another, you can't seem to move past it with Wendy. Very strange. And of course, since they're talking about Wendy, they bring up Candiace. So Robyn reveals that she actually reached out to Candiace after the Miami trip because in last week's episode, we heard Robyn and Candiace get into a blowout argument when they were in the Sprinter van. So Robyn says, yeah, she was yelling at me because she was angry at the whole speaker situation at dinner. So of course, here comes Gizelle talking about how can Candiace be mad? She was caught talking about us on Instagram Live. And I said, Gizelle, can you stop saying that Candiace was caught or exposed or busted? That was a public video for anybody to see it if they wanted to watch. So you sound silly saying, well, she was busted, so I don't know why she's mad. First of all, if you watch the whole Instagram live, she was complimenting Robyn. So anybody watching knew that she was talking about everybody else except Robyn, Karen, and Wendy. She was talking about Gizelle, Mia, and Ashley. Robyn, in my opinion, was immature for bringing that speaker out, trying to expose Candiace in the first place. If that's your good friend, talk to her one-on-one and just ask her, hey girl, who exactly were you talking about in that Instagram live? Because was it me? You could have done that, Robyn, but you didn't want to. You wanted a moment. And I find it very strange that Gizelle gets so offended when folks give her that same energy. Because Gizelle, you're always talking poorly about somebody else. But when it's done to you, it's a problem? Like, how does that work? So we jump to Candiace. She's at home with Chris, and they are planning her graduation party because my girl got her MBA from Howard University.
We drinking strawberry and champagne. Hold on, let me get a strawberry. Let me get a strawberry. I love it. Robyn in my drink.
So she has 2 degrees. So she's gonna have a nice setup. They're gonna get a tent and some tables and chairs, and they're going to have a cute little party with all their friends and family coming to celebrate. So they're going over the guest list, and she says that she's going to invite Karen because she feels bad about what happened in Miami, and then she says that she was wrong for what she said. And before anybody accuses me of liking Candiace so much that I'm biased, let me just break it down for everybody. First and foremost, Candiace is not the first person to talk about Karen and Ray's marriage. It was brought up in season 2 from Miss Sharice Jackson Jordan. She was the one who said it first about Karen was sneaking off with her driver named Blue Eyes. So what we're not gonna do is act like Candiace is just so at fault for repeating what she heard. And production, while you guys have been on point for the most part this season, you guys did not play the full clip. Because if you roll the tapes back, Ashley brought it up.
Stuff I don't even want comes to me.
People used to tell me so much stuff about Karen and Ray.
Oh my God.
So I don't understand why Candiace is getting all this blame and not Ashley. And Ashley has also said nasty things about Karen and Ray's marriage too. Remember in season 3 when they were in Cannes and Ashley and Karen got into it and she was like, yeah, Karen, that's how you always complain that Ray's penis doesn't work and this, that, and the third. So I don't really want to hear all this smoke for Candiace when these ladies have been coming after Karen and Ray's marriage for quite some time. And Karen is the same woman who went to HR behind Candiace's back trying to get her fired off the show in season 5. So again, miss me with all this stuff about, oh, you know, Karen didn't deserve that, and I can't believe Candiace would do that. So they're both even. But then Candiace brings up how Robyn reached out to her the other day, and she wants to straighten things out with Robyn because she really likes Robyn a lot, and she trusts Robyn the most in this group. Now, somebody refresh my memory because I was confused hearing this. If I had to pick who was the closest to Candiace in this group, I would assume that it was Wendy. I had no idea that Robyn and Candiace were as close as they both claimed to have been. I was just really surprised hearing that come out of Candiace's mouth, but apparently they are super tight behind the scenes and they are just the best of friends. I said, okay, well, that's news to me and everybody else. And then we find out that Candiace's period hasn't come yet, so she's getting excited because she thinks that she might possibly be pregnant. Now we move on to a short scene with Karen at home, and she has her friend / former assistant Matt come by, and they're going over her live show. Now, we remember Matt from season 3 when Karen had her press conference about her tax debt. And everybody was looking at him like, who is he? Is he her assistant? Is he her driver? Like, where did he come from? But Karen swears that Matt is a good friend of hers and she's known him since he was 17. And I just want to know, where and how did Matt and Karen meet? Because I'm just confused at their friendship. Was he ever even assisting her? Like, I don't know. I think with Karen, she's also somebody where it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. You don't really know what's what. But anyhow, they're going over the details about Karen's live show. Matt suggesting all these outfit changes. And I'm thinking, Karen doesn't sing or dance, so why would she have multiple outfit changes? And it's funny because she was here in New York last month doing one of her live shows. And her live show was the same week that I went to the Fresca event where I met Andy Cohen. But Karen seems a bit nervous about doing a live show only because Robyn and Gizelle are doing a live show for their podcast. And then she also mentions how her and Wendy with the candle line, it just always seems like everybody's doing the same thing within the group. But Matt throws some shade and says, well, they have a podcast, but their podcast does not seem that interesting. And I said, but Matt, it would make more sense for them to have a live show over Karen having a live show. Like I said in the beginning, a lot of filler scenes. So we see a short scene with Wendy and Eddie. They're just coming back from Chicago. They were there for 24 hours because Wendy had a speaking engagement at the University of Chicago. Now, I did think it was funny because Wendy cannot say Chicago. I mean, she was struggling, and even Eddie was like, girl, it's Chicago, not whatever you're saying. Shout out to any of my subscribers who live in Chicago because I lived there for 4 years. I went to college there, and I do miss a deep dish pizza. I miss Portillo's, okay? Like, y'all have some of the best food. So, yeah, shout out to y'all. Now, we get to Robyn and Candiace meeting up for drinks and to hash out their issues. Now, off rip, the minute that Candiace walks into the restaurant, Robyn is emotional. She's about to cry. I was surprised at first. I was like, wait, what is Robyn emotional about? And then we learn that Robyn's friend and hairstylist of 16 years just lost her brother and sister-in-law in a tragic car accident. So she's emotional about that. To see her good friend in pain like that is very upsetting to her. Then Robyn says that because of this accident, she sees how short life is, and because of that, she thinks that it's important to squash any stupid beef that she has with anybody in this group. That was really sad to hear about Robyn's friend. My prayers go out to her family. I can't even imagine what she's going through right now. Now, Robyn tells Candiace that she views her like a little sister, and she really is hurt that they're having friction. Now, once again, I was shocked that Robyn and Candiace were this close. I don't know where I've been, but I just don't remember seeing or hearing them being super close like this. So imagine my surprise to see them both so torn up about their argument. But Candiace starts crying and she says, Robyn, I just wish that you would have talked to me one-on-one about this and asked me yourself who I was talking about. Robyn feels like she's justified for doing what she did because she felt like Candiace was questioning her loyalty. And then here you go with Robyn throwing it in Candiace's face about, well, with the whole Chris and Gizelle mess, I'm actually on your side and I'm not on Gizelle's side about that. So the fact that she would do this to me, and it's like, Robyn, Gizelle is wrong. Anybody can see that. So you don't deserve a pat on the back or a cookie for actually being on the right side of things. You should be on Chris and Candiace's side because, again, your friend is wrong. And for her to insinuate that Chris made her feel uncomfortable is really messed up. Candiace does own up to what she did, and she says, look, I understand why you felt the way you felt, and I get it, I'm sorry, won't happen again. And no, I don't think that's your fate. They hug it out, the beef is squashed, but what I will say, Candiace, going forward, I would have my good eye on Robyn. Because the fact that she was so excited to expose you at that dinner table, that spoke volumes. Because like I said, if we're really good friends, like you guys both claim to be, and I see you go on Instagram Live and you're venting your frustrations, I'm just gonna come to you one-on-one and say, hey girl, be honest with me. Who are you talking about? Was I included in that whole rant? Like, let me know. Listen, if Candiace wants to be best friends with Robyn Dixon, then God bless. Sometimes I feel like we're all being played for idiots. Like, these women are probably the best of friends behind the scenes. I don't know. Because you see somebody cursing somebody out, they're saying the most disgusting things about them, and then we'll see them out and about in real life. Like the club scene in the last episode. Ashley and Candiace all hugged up on each other. Mia and Candiace all hugged up. Mia's kissing Candiace's cheek. It's like, what's going on? Now, did anybody else scream the way I did when we got to Mia at her grand opening for her chiro practice in DC? What's it called? The Joint? But the way Mia was hyping this whole grand opening up, I thought it was going to be a lot grander than what we saw. We saw a little step and repeat, a DJ, and only 6 or 7 people showed up. I said, this is a grand opening party? Where are the people? So she's going on about how they own 14 joint practices. And then she brought up how there was some other deal that went through. And when the producer asked her, well, what was the deal? And she said, oh, I actually don't even know, but I'm just tired of all these lawyers. And I said, girl, what are you talking about? For you to be a CEO, you're very clueless. But like I said before, that CEO title that Mia has, that's in name only. I found it interesting that out of the whole group, only Karen showed up. You did all that kissing up to the Green-Eyed Bandits, and they couldn't even bother to attend your grand opening party. That should show you right there that Gizelle and Robyn don't like you or respect you. They just use you as their little puppet to do their dirty work, and you stupidly do it. But they don't like you. They don't support you. They're not coming to any of your grand opening parties for your businesses. And it's also hilarious to watch you brag about how you're a CEO, you're a boss, but present day, that's not the case, because Gordon's brothers swooped in, took over, and locked you and Gordon out of your business accounts that you now have no access to. But you're such a boss, right? Now we jump to yet another filler scene with Ashley over at her Uncle Lump's house. Now, one thing about it, I really do like Uncle Lump. I think he has the most sense out of that entire family. He is always letting Ashley know that what she's talking about makes no sense, and I'm here for it. But anyhow, we learned from Ashley that her and Michael have been arguing, and it got so bad that her little son got involved and just said, you know, stop arguing, stop fighting. He had to come between them. So she gets emotional, and she says that she's just nervous to be starting over again, and the fact that it's just going to be her and the boys now without Michael, that's really hard. So she starts talking about, I don't know, how am I going to do it? Like, I'm fully responsible for the well-being of these children, and I don't know if I can do it. So you have her aunt comforting her, telling her it's going to be all right. And I honestly don't have a whole lot to say. I just got the impression that Ashley's nervous that Michael might be an absent father since they're getting a divorce. The scene with Gizelle's daughter's Sweet 16 party, I thought the twins looked absolutely beautiful. It was so cute seeing the twins with all their friends. They were excited. That's a very exciting moment. Like, I still remember my Sweet 16. It was beautiful, honey. My parents went all out. I had it at a country club, okay? And it was during the time of that show, Super Sweet 16 on MTV. So, like, yeah, it was like, it was a moment.
Bling, bling, bling. Bitches is mad.
I always enjoy when Gizelle has her daughters around her. She's definitely a lot more likable, but the Sweet 16 party looked really nice. Gizelle's emotional. She's like, I can't believe it. These 8-pound babies are now little women. And it was cute to see Jamal there. Gizelle says throughout the ups and downs, Jamal's always going to show up. I also thought that Gizelle's speech to the twins was beautiful as well. When she said, you guys are everything that I wished I was at 16. Very sweet. And honestly, Gizelle, if you only filmed with your daughters, I think that we would all like you. Why can't you be pleasant like this all the time? And now we get to Candiace's graduation party at her house. She's getting ready. They're getting the tent all set up in the backyard. And Candiace's mother, Dorothy, is there. Now, you know that Mama Dot is very shady. There was a snake in the backyard. So Candiace is screaming like, oh my gosh, there's a snake. And then you have Dorothy talking about, now, Candiace, I thought you told me that Gizelle wouldn't be invited.
You know what? This is too much.
I said, now, Dorothy, this is the side of you that we want to see. Not all that other stuff where you're being shady towards your son-in-law and making comments about your daughter's marriage. And is it me, or does Dorothy's face look a bit refreshed? Like she went and got it touched up a bit. No, yes? Because I said, she's looking really good. I said, okay, Dorothy. Because you know that Dorothy thinks that she's a housewife too. But all the friends and family start arriving. Karen and Ray show up. Robyn arrives. Robyn, what in the entire F were you wearing? That t-shirt with the butterfly on it and the biker shorts. I was like, girl, are you running errands or are you going to somebody's party? I don't know about you, but I like to look good. Like, I like to be all done up. And I wouldn't even run errands in that. But I just said, Robyn, really? That's the best outfit you could put on? I was really surprised at that. We see Miss Charisse there. And Charisse, you're not bringing anything this season. If this is your campaign to come back as a full-time cast member, I'm sorry, girl, but you're not giving what the girl said you were supposed to have gave. And a lot of people feel like you never gave it. But Charisse is letting it be known that she is desperate to be back on in front of this camera because she has yet to miss an event. You have Wendy and Eddie arrive. Of course, Wendy is super hyped because she loves a degree. And she was like, girl, 2 degrees come through. But I thought it was funny when she said, I mean, it's now 4 degrees, but still. I liked Candiace's dress a lot. She looked really cute. Definitely giving Barbie with that hot pink. I loved it. But we have everybody having a good time. The food looked good. You know it's a black function, so they have the ribs, the mac and cheese, the yams, potato salad. They had all that. Candiace, the next party that you have, please invite me because that food looks so good. I like that the party, for the most part, had a fun vibe. Things are generally less messy when Gizelle and Ashley aren't in the mix. Now, we do have Karen, Ray, and Robyn talking about Robyn's upcoming wedding plans. So Karen's trying to find out the tea. Robyn's being tight-lipped. Then Robyn says it's only going to be an intimate ceremony with just the 4 of them. So Karen is like, girl, this is some BS. Now, personally, I don't believe for a minute that this wedding is actually going to happen. I don't think that Robyn or Juan are really serious about getting remarried. I think they're only doing this so that Robyn can have a spot on this show. That's what I feel personally. But I'll be very surprised if this wedding actually comes through. And am I the only one who doesn't care anymore? I mean, Robyn and Juan have been teasing this, will they or won't they get back together, since season 1. It's been the same old thing. They got re-engaged at the end of season 5. Last season should have been all about them wedding planning, and this season we should have been seeing a wedding. And we are not going to sit here until season 10 to wait for you guys to finally get married. Now, when Wendy sits down to join them, and it's just her and Robyn having a conversation. Y'all, I was irritated. Wendy starts off the conversation by saying, look, Robyn, I meant what I said at the club. I miss you. I miss our friendship. And I'm hurt. And Wendy, you're a nicer person than I am, because there's no way that I'm telling somebody who was laughing at me being assaulted on a cast trip that I miss them and I miss our friendship.
No.
This woman didn't check on you, didn't come to your aid, and pretty much blamed you for your own assault. Told you repeatedly that you were antagonizing Mia, when Mia was the one who was antagonizing you and harassing you. So to hear you say, well, I miss you, I miss our friendship, that friendship would be done. I would never speak to Robyn again. I'm really waiting for the day that y'all will snap out of it and stop begging for Gizelle and Robyn's approval. It's just so crazy to me. And again, I get that people feel like Wendy's playing chess and they're all playing checkers and she's doing this to show that she's mature, and I understand that. But at the same token, Wendy's well within her right to say, you know what? I'm paying y'all dues. Don't ever speak to me again. I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm not that strategic, because I don't know how I could apologize to somebody who hurt me and laughed at my pain. And I pride myself on being pretty strategic and knowing human nature. But this kind of takes the cake for me. Robyn really pissed me off, saying, I understand that, but my question for you is, why were you comfortable having the conversation at the club and not around everybody else? And I was thinking, Robyn, why do you want Wendy to pour her heart out to you in front of the group? Shouldn't this be a one-on-one conversation? Why are you mad? When you guys were at the club, that was the only time you were away from Gizelle. So it seemed like the opportune time to talk to you. And Wendy kept apologizing, and here goes Robyn just dragging it out. Well, I just want to know, how come I wasn't met with the same contention like before? And it's like, girl, do you accept her apology or not? Like, my God, it was just so aggravating. But Robyn does finally accept Wendy's apology, and Wendy, like I just said, I would not have apologized to Robyn. For what? Okay, I read her down last season and she's still mad. Okay, she'll get over it. And she and Gizelle deserved those reads last season because of what they did. Talking about she's changed and she's a loose person because she got surgery and feels good about herself. And then bringing up those rumors about Eddie cheating and having some outside baby. Anybody would read you down for that. And Robyn really pissed me off when she said, I'm just so surprised to see Wendy actually take ownership. And I said, what are you talking about? You never take ownership for anything. Wendy had to force you to apologize to her for hurting her feelings. You barely wanted to do that. Talking about, well, you know, I thought I did apologize to you. And Wendy said, no, you didn't, sis. I'm still waiting for my apology. So now we see Karen and Candiace, and Karen wants to know what exactly was said that night when she and Ashley were hanging out. So Candiace cops to what she said. She says, Karen, when I denied it at the table, I really forgot what I had said, but I said it and I'm sorry. Now, Candiace, that was very nice of you to apologize, but personally, I feel like you didn't do anything wrong. You should have just said, Karen, Ashley twisted up what I said, because what I said was, people come to me with information about you and Ray's marriage, but it's all hearsay. I would not have taken the blame for that. Ashley was the one who brought up the conversation in the first place. I was just really irritated by that. I said, okay, Karen acting so sensitive about her marriage when she's always the one talking about it every episode and talking about having some eye candy on the side and flirting with other men. Like, girl, what are you talking about? But Candiace had me laughing when she said that she got messy that night and real drunk with a demon. And I said, let this be the last time that you try to befriend Ashley Darby. You gotta stop doing that. Now that's where I will get on you, Candiace, because I'm getting tired of all this. Well, Ashley actually is a fun girl and we actually could be friends. No, you can't be friends with her. You cannot be friends with somebody who actually hates you. It doesn't work. Make peace with the fact that you two will never be friends. Ashley, for whatever reason, doesn't like you, and she will always find a way to throw you under the bus. So Karen says that she appreciates Candiace and she really loves people who can own up to what they say and do. And I said, Karen, can you own up to what you say and do to people? It's just, it really kills me how Candiace and Wendy are held to a different standard than everybody else on this cast. Now, I was really caught off guard to see Ray and Chris talking, and you have Ray telling Chris that he needs to apologize to Gizelle. And he says, well, if Gizelle felt uncomfortable, then just say, I'm sorry. And I loved when Chris said, Ray, why am I apologizing? I didn't do anything wrong. Chris was absolutely correct to brush Ray off because Ray, first of all, why are you in their business? Second of all, if this were you and somebody accused you of being inappropriate when you know that you weren't, would you apologize? Why would he do that? Why should he have to do that? Gizelle is wrong. Her story has changed several times. And she is reaching. And Chris even said in the confessional, why would I apologize? That's like me admitting to something that I didn't do. And I loved when Candiace said, now let's say that Chris and Gizelle do meet up to talk about this and Chris apologizes to her. Who's to say that she won't come out and lie on Chris again? Because we never expected her to lie like she's lying now. I said Candiace and Chris are exactly right. You can't trust Gizelle. You don't know what's liable to come out her mouth. And now we end the episode with Candiace giving a speech and she's thanking all of them for being there. And Chris is pissed. So he's outside drinking and he's like, why am I apologizing for what? And I felt really bad because it's supposed to be a really special time and Chris isn't even in the kitchen to hear his wife give a speech because Ray has pissed him off. But I really do wish that Chris had just stayed inside to listen to Candiace's speech. But guys, like I said earlier, this was very much a filler episode. Not a whole lot happened. Hopefully next week is a lot better. But as always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.